Hello everyone, welcome to this training course once again, and this discussion is going to focus on proving ways to build a positive school culture or proving ways of developing a positive school culture. In our previous two videos, the discussion was about characteristics of toxic school culture and the effect of toxic school culture. In the previous discussion, we have established that in a toxic school culture, the system does not work. And in a toxic school culture, the effect is that many people are not very ready to support the system or the pupils and students. People keep their ideas to themselves, and even when new people come to the system, they are socialized into the negativities of the school system. And at the end of that discussion, my question was, if in a toxic school culture things don't work, then what do we do in order to improve the system to become positive, to inure to the benefit of both staff and students, and for them to have the right values and cultural relationship within the system, for the system to work, and that the children or the pupils and students will get the right results from the school system. That is what leads us to this discussion on proving ways to build or develop a positive school culture. I must say that in every human organization, it is the leadership that drives some of these things that we are going to discuss. For you to have a conducive organizational system or school system, for the right culture, the positive culture to be implemented in order that everybody play their role within the school system, it must be the desire of management that they work towards a positive school culture. And that everything I'm going to discuss within the context of building positive school culture, the people who must engineer it are the management. So in a public school, the head teacher, the assistant head teacher, or the principal, or the school manager, they must engineer these things that we are going to talk about, these points that we are going to raise and discuss, in order that the system will take it up. Then the result you want, you will be able to get it. Now, for us to continue, there are some scholars who actually talk about how to build a proven positive school culture in a school. And two people who have worked on this that I'm going to refer to in my discussion are Terrence and Peterson. And in an article, these two people said that shaping school culture, it is the heart of leadership. Shaping school culture is the heart of leadership. And that if all the discussion we are going to have, if things are going to work and work positively and to develop a positive school culture in a school, it is the leadership that must engineer it. So you see that because the leadership is not engineering positivity within the system, that is why the system becomes toxic. But if leadership is able to, or is ready to, they will be able to drive it and it will become positive and the system will work. That is what Terrence and Peterson talk about. Moving forward, they said that if schools are to change and improve, many things must be in place. 1, leadership, as I said already, leadership. 2, clear sense of vision and mission. I'm adding the vision and mission. Clear sense of mission, high expectation, resources must be made available. Time must be allotted to every change that is the system desire or management desire. Time must be allotted, and there must be cordiality within the system. Everybody should be respected for who they are. That's what they talk about. And that for the system to work, a knowledge of teaching and learning and systematic approach to planning and a position of professional culture must be engineered. So in their context, for the system to be positive, for the right culture to inspire people within the system to work, leadership, it is at the heart of leadership. This is what I want us to take note before we continue with the discussion. Now, moving forward, I want us to look at some of the ways to build a positive school culture. The first one is that if change is going to come, the system, the leadership or management must be ready to involve everybody within the school system, and that you must establish school norms and build values. The management of the school, which is willing to build a positive school culture for the system to work effectively, must be conscious and build the right norms and build the right values. In building these right norms and values, your school and classroom rules must be spelled out. Those who took part in effective classroom management know about what I'm talking about. There must be rules of engagement from the top to bottom. Now, if the system is going to work, when the leadership spell out norms and values for the system, they must also make sure they go by it. For example, the system has realized that teachers don't come to school early. Pupils and students are always late to school. Management must take it upon itself and make sure that they become the examples of the rules that they put in place. As a principal, as a school head, if you want to make sure that your teachers, your management and your teachers come to school early, you, the leader, must also make sure that you come to school early. If you, for example, the school is supposed to by 7:45 in your time start morning devotion or whatever is supposed to be done, or classes must start at 8 o'clock. So before that time, some other things are supposed to be done, and the rules spell it out. You, as the school manager, the principal or the school head, must always make sure that you come to school early. And when you are consistent about it, what happens is that your teachers will not want you to be always in school before they come. And that will reduce truancy or lateness to school. If the management will want to make sure that teachers are punctual, management must always try to be punctual. Another example is that in the classroom, the teacher, the norms that we put in place, the teacher must be an example, or the staff must be examples of that norms and values that are put in place. So the first thing is that to build a positive school system, school culture, you must make sure you establish norms, you establish values which you if it's a private school, you the school owner must be ready to follow, and the leadership or the management team must be ready to follow. Then they become example to the staff. The staff continue to be example to the pupils and students. That will make the system turn out to become positive. That is one. The second thing is that to establish a positive school culture, we must make sure the immediate stakeholders must be involved. Who are the immediate stakeholders? One, out of the school system, parents and guardians must be involved. In this establishing the norms, they must be informed, they must be carried along. Another thing is that in a public school, we have SMEs and we have a PTA. The PTA of the school must be involved in these norms, creating the awareness about what you want to achieve, how you want to raise the standard, the positive school cultural standard. You must get these people along. If you get them involved, whatever you want to do, they will support. Sometimes they can even come in and give you some ideas which you can implement and it will work. So in build positive school culture, the first one we say you build norms and values. Second one is that you must get parents involved in the process, and if you get them involved in the process, they will support you and the system will work. The next the next point is that to build a proven positive school culture, you must be ready to celebrate achievement and good behavior. Celebrate good behavior, celebrate achievements. Make sure that when you establish the rules, you get other people involved. How will you motivate the staff and students to work towards that goal of achieving a positive school culture, which will be attractive to the outsiders or will attract the community in which you are? You need to celebrate achievement. Celebrating achievement is not only about pupils and students, those who score higher grades, you award them. No. You can also award those pupils who have improved in their learning. The child is not doing well in a particular subject. However, the child is being helped in establishing the rules and how you can support others. The child improves. That improvement should be celebrated. So if you give awards to pupils and students who have scored good grades and they can be identified as the best students in a subject, you should be able to look at pupils and students who were not doing well in a particular subject, and through the assistance or the support given to the pupils and students by the school system, those pupils have improved, is no longer at the last end but has come to the middle. those pupils and students should be recognized. That will become a motivation. The same thing applies to teachers. Teachers who their pupils and students are doing well need to be motivated. I have opportunities to go to school graduations, and what I observe is that the school system awards pupils and students, however, not a single award to a teacher. That is not motivating enough. As you celebrate the pupils and students for doing well, you must also find a way of celebrating the teachers who supported the pupils and students to do well. In the classroom system, in the classroom also, when the child is improving, you should be able to talk and to say good words, encouraging words to the pupil or the student in the class that will motivate the child. So, in establishing positive school culture, celebrate personal achievements and also good behavior. Children who they say they are not doing well, they are not behaving well. When they improve, you should be able to encourage them. Mention their name, that we have seen that this child is doing well. It's a motivation to that child. The next example is that set consistent discipline standards. The discipline standard should be set. That when the standard is set, when children are going to be reprimanded for a particular thing they have done, make sure that you are consistent. It cuts through, cut across. There should not be any discrimination. Another thing is that when you set the standard for discipline, that standards for discipline should not affect only the pupils and students. It should affect also the staff and also affect parents. Some parents, I must say, are bad role model to their pupils and students, because there are no good values in those houses. Some of their homes, the children bring those behavior to the school. And if you are going to make sure you manage and make sure those bad behaviors are controlled and dealt with, and it will not affect the system, what must happen is that if a parent comes to the school system and misbehave or put out a misconduct, that parent should be dealt with, and the school system must make sure that that becomes an example. For example, I give the example of a school where a parent came to abuse a teacher and nothing was done about it. What should happen in a positive, if you are going to build a positive school culture, that parent should be arranged before PTA, and PTA should be made aware, and there should be some sanction for that parent. If that happens, other parents will be aware that this school will not tolerate indiscipline of parents, and neither will the school tolerate the indiscipline of their pupils or their wards. If that happens, it becomes a standard discipline. Everybody who abuses or go contrary to the standard, the discipline, the person will be brought to book. If you do it like that, no parent will come to a school and misbehave. I want to give an example concerning this. In a public school which I taught in Ghana, that was in a secondary school when I just completed university that time, And in fact, this head teacher, Mr. Somia, may he rest in peace. I was a young exuberant person in his school and making sure that I just wanted to contribute to standards. And I disciplined a child, and a parent came to the school, and having conversation with that parent, the headmaster made the parent aware that what you are doing, what if you take any action against my teacher, I will take action against you. That was the decision of the head teacher. And other staff, when they were aware of what the child did before I disciplined the child, they advised the parent to rather go back if he doesn't want a problem. What am I trying to say? The standard was put in place. I just make sure that I implement it. I implemented it, and the parent more or less want to come against me. The system supported me. That is what is lacking in some schools. So if, especially even private schools, if you are going to establish discipline, the discipline will cut across from the pupils and students, staff and parents. And nobody misbehave within the school system. If it's about dressing, the standard is the uniform. In most of our African countries, there are uniforms. Schools wear uniform, several of them. The rule must be there, must make sure that the child must wear the uniform. If they don't wear the uniform, it means they go contrary to it. So what I'm trying to say is that you have to set up consistent discipline standards, and you make sure anybody who abuses it, whether parents engineer it or not, there should be a sanction. The next point is that the staff, teaching and non-teaching staff, should be role model to the pupils and students. Not only that, senior students should be role model to their juniors. It shouldn't be that do what I say but not what I do. That is why in one of my discussions I said that school system is different from other organizations. In a school system, you, the one who is guiding people, should not guide them by word of mouth alone. You need to show example in everything you do. Dressing appropriately, speaking the right words to the pupils and students, not being harsh to them. All these are modeling. And if you the leader, let me start with the management. If the management is the right model, you don't set the rule and you don't go by it. You set the rules, you go by the rules. The management, the staff, other staff will go by it. The same thing applies to the pupils and students. That is why even in some schools, you realize that there are some particular teachers, children don't misbehave around them because the standard is there. They become the role model, and they know that teacher will not do the wrong thing and ask them to do the right thing. So that is role modeling. So the behavior the leadership or management want to see in the pupils and students, you must model it and help the pupils and students to follow the same way. My next point, which is the 6th point, is engage students in the ways that benefit them. Engage students, pupils and students in the ways that benefit them. When in a school, your students are learning more than just for curriculum activities. when they are learning more than just curricular activities, it inspires them to do more. Another thing is that when the system is structured in a way that what they are doing benefit the pupils and students, they will comport themselves, they will focus on it, and they will follow it. An example, when I took up the management of a school in Nigeria, I introduced what we call activity period. And the activity period was more of giving extra lessons and also discussing about things that they don't learn in the classroom. So in the activity period, we talk about personality development, we talk about career development, we talk about social vices. We also have other activities which are involve all other teachers in doing, and that was what we call activity period. And the activity period was more of 1 hour 30 minutes. And in that context, what happens is that I also come in to give talks to the pupils, and we discuss issues. I ask them questions. Now, when there was a time and we were facing some challenges, and I have to be running around to make sure I solve those problems, and the activity was not regular, some of the pupils will send the students, they will send their leadership to me and ask me, why is this not happening again? And that encouraged that activity period to go on, and other teachers got involved. So if you are going to build a culture, when you are consistent and you are doing whatever is supposed to do, and the pupils realize that this will benefit them, they will always remind you, and they will decide that they want that activity to continue. So if it is about activities outside the classroom, that is the co-curriculum activities, make sure that you organize it in a way that it will interest the pupils. If it interests the people, they will always want it to continue. And if it continues, it becomes a good culture, a positive culture within the system. I don't know whether activity period is still continuing in that school, but those pupils who were there throughout and complete school, some of them benefit a lot from activity period. And that is one of the things I also sell to other schools, to make sure that don't focus on only the academic work in the class. Don't build your school culture only around academic work. Get other co-curriculum activities and make sure you organize it in a way that it will interest the pupils. If those interests are raised, the pupils will comport and support the system to work. And when those activities are done, the involvement of staff is very important. Make sure there is somebody assigned in charge of every activity, and that person will liaise with other staff in order that activity will continue. So in a nutshell, and make sure when you are building a school culture, activities that will interest the pupils should be involved, and the children will always love to support it. And that will also minimize misuse of hyper energy. Yes, sometimes the children have the energy to do some things, but if you don't guide the energy, they will misuse the energy. So that is what we need to take care of. The next point is that create customs and traditions that are fun for students and staff. Create fun moments that the pupil, not only the pupils and students, the staff are also going to follow. And this can be about on Fridays, an activity that will involve the children, both children and staff, students and staff, involve them. It will inspire them to focus on what you want them to do. Then it becomes a tradition, which is now what part of the positive culture. Another point, and I'm going to mention the others because of time, is that encourage more innovation in class. Encourage pupils. If you motivate teachers, you get facilities, you get them engaged and tell them that this we want to get them involved in. They will get those things in a class. When they are doing such a thing, it becomes innovation. I'm talking about innovation. The innovation in the class will ginger the children to learn. So those in a positive school culture, make sure that you encourage innovation in the class. Also innovation outside. For example, at the school assembly ground, sometimes children can be called to come and give a speech, to come and tell what happens. All these things motivate the pupils and students to study and comport themselves. One thing about a school system I've realized is that if you focus the mind of people to what will benefit them, they will support it. So encouragement of staff, encouragement of the pupils and students is very, very important. The next one is that there should be a plan for professional development of the staff, pupils and students also, and the staff. Professional development of the staff. Yes, let me focus on the staff. Professional development is not going to focus on only the teachers. It should focus on the teachers, manage non-teaching staff.